Hello, dear students. I am Dr.T.K. KOTHAI, a passionate teacher with more than 38 long years of collegiate teaching experience. In my channel, AK's Amazing Accountancy, I have already uploaded 145 videos for the subject corporate accounting. This channel has benefited thousands of students and has reached more than 8,36,000 views. In corporate accounting, I've covered almost all the major topics. Now, based on the request of my dear and loving students, I have decided to upload videos for another passionate subject of mine, that is business law. Business law, generally, students feel that it's a difficult subject and they have a fear towards that subject. But believe me, it's a very interesting subject provided you understand the subject well. Through my videos, I assure you that I'll make the subject very easy and very interesting for you to understand. With this brief introduction, let me proceed with the subject now. I will first give you an introduction. Let us see the meaning of law first. What is meant by the word law? A law is a rule or set of rules. It's a rule or a set of rules established and enforced by a governing authority, usually the government, to regulate behavior and to maintain order within a society. So, when you take the meaning of law, basically, law refers to a rule or set of rules, and it is established by whom and it is established by for what purpose. It is established by a governing authority, and usually, the governing authority will be the government. So, who establishes and enforces the law? The government does it. What do you mean by enforcing law? Enforcing means putting into force. So, law is established and enforced by a governing authority, and usually the governing authority will be the government. And what is the purpose of law? The purpose is to regulate behavior, and to maintain order within the society. So, this is what is the very purpose of law. So, the very purpose of law is to regulate behavior and to maintain order within the society. In simple words, you can say that law aims to ensure justice and fairness in the society. Okay, so this is what is the basic meaning of law. Now, let us proceed with the classification of law. I hope you are now clear with what does the word law mean. Now, let us proceed with the classification of law. Law is usually classified under two headings. One is national law, and the other one is international law. International law relates to law of various nations or countries, and it will differ from country to country. What is regarded as an offense in one country may not be an offense in another. Okay, so basically international law, it differs according to the country concerned, and we are not concerned about international law in this particular subject. Okay, so we are concerned only about national law. So what do you mean by national law? National law is a law which applies to one particular nation or country. Okay, under national law we have two more classifications. One is civil law and the other one is criminal law. Okay, civil law and criminal law. As you all will know, criminal law is basically concerned with, or it basically deals with criminal offenses. In simple words, criminal law is a law that deals with crime or illegal activities. So, in this subject, business law, we are not concerned with criminal law. So, we are not bothered about it now. Now, we are concerned only about civil law. So you have to know what is the meaning of civil law. So when you say civil law is basically concerned with one particular country's personal matters or business matters, and it basically deals and regulates the business matters and personal matters, and it is not in any way connected with crime or offense. So that is what is civil law. Okay. Under civil law only, we have business law, which is also known as commercial law, and it is also known as mercantile law. All this will come only under civil law. So, this subject is basically business law, isn't it? So, you have to know what is the meaning of business law. Business law only can be called as mercantile law and commercial law also. So let us now see what is the meaning of business law. So I have given it very clearly here. Business law or mercantile law or commercial law is a specialized branch of law. It's a specialized branch of civil law. Okay, I told you business law comes under civil law, that focuses on the rules and regulations governing business and commercial transactions. So, all those rules and regulations governing commercial transactions and business transactions will come under business law. Okay. And in business law, we'll be coming across several acts, and I've given you the list of those acts. These are the very common acts which we will be dealing with in the subject business law. So we have the Indian Contract Act 1872, the Negotiable Instruments Act 1881, Sale of Goods Act 1932, Indian Partnership Act 1932, Companies Act 1956. Okay. Though we'll be coming across all these acts under business law, most of the topics coming in business law will be covered by the Indian Contract Act 1872 only. So, this Indian Contract Act 1872 is very, very important so far as the subject business law is concerned. Okay. Now, let us discuss something about this Indian Contract Act 1872. The Indian Contract Act 1872 is primarily based on the English common law. So, what is the base for the Indian Contract Act? The base for the Indian Contract Act is the English common law. And it was enacted, the Indian Contract Act 1872 was enacted during the British rule in India, and it aimed to standardize contract law across the country. The very purpose of the Indian Contract Act 1872 is to standardize the contract law across the country. So this act applies to the entire country, that is India. Okay. I already told you that the base for the Indian Contract Act is the English common law, isn't it? So, in Indian Contract Act, when we deal with this Indian Contract Act, we'll be coming across a number of Latin maxims and phrases. And for all those Latin maxims and phrases, you have to know the meaning. Only then you can understand the subject matter. Before I proceed further with the rest of the maxims and phrases, I want you all to understand this particular phrase first. This is a very important phrase for which you have to know the meaning. So, what is the phrase we have here? Ignorantia, juris, non excusat. You all should clearly know and understand the meaning for this Latin maxim, that is ignorantia juris non excusat. This Latin maxim or phrase means ignorance of law is no excuse. So let me tell you the meaning of this phrase once again. This Latin maxim, ignorantia juris non excusat, means ignorance of law is no excuse. So, what do you mean by this? Every individual living in the society should know the basics of law. That is, he or she should know what is right and what is wrong. I have given you here. This legal principle means that a person cannot escape liability for violating law by claiming that he is unaware of its existence. Okay, so everybody should know about the law prevailing in the country and what is right, what is wrong, and they should not say that they can't commit a crime or offense and say that I was not aware that it is wrong. So, as a human being, as an individual, every person is expected to know what is right and what is wrong, what is an offense, what is not an offense, and all that. Okay, so no person can escape from liability by saying that he or she is unaware of the law prevailing in the society. So that is what is meant by the maxim ignorantia juris non excusat. Okay, essentially, everyone is presumed to know law. That is what is right and what is wrong. So, this principle is a basic principle which underlines law. Okay, the subject law is basically based upon this principle. I hope you are clear with the meaning of this particular maxim. So, I would like to wind up this video with this now. Hope you are clear with the meaning of law, its purpose, classification of law, the meaning of ignorantia juris non excusat. In my next video, I'll be giving you clear explanation about the Indian Contract Act 1872 and also about the meaning of the word contract. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel and pass it to your friends also. Please don't forget to give your comments. Only then I'll be able to post videos according to your requirements and expectations. Thank you dear students for watching this video.